Welcome to Uncharted and Unfiltered, the journey back to you. I am Cynthia Jameson, your host, and this is where we break free from the noise and dive deep into what truly matters you. If you're tired of the shoulds, the expectations, and the pressures to fit into a mold that doesn't serve you, you're in the right place. This isn't a podcast about easy answers or sugar coated advice. This is your invitation to reclaim your path, embrace the unknown, and become the bold, unapologetic version of yourself that's been waiting to show up. It's time to get unfiltered. Let's get started. Hey, friend, how are you? I am so glad to be here with you today, and I'm so glad that you are here too. Today's episode started with something super small, but ended up changing a lot for me, and maybe it will change something for you too. This episode is about the genius that we overlook, the kind that doesn't come with titles, trophies, or LinkedIn endorsements. It's about the quiet power that is already in you, even if you can't see it yet. So here's what sparked this episode. I was listening to a podcast from my own coach recently, and there was this moment where she said something that made me pause. One of those moments where something lands, not just in your mind, but in your gut. And in that podcast episode, she was talking about genius, not the flashy kind, but the kind that you don't even realize that you have. And she said something like, what is the thing that you do so naturally, so easily, that you don't even recognize it as special? And so something in me just lit up at the idea and the thought of this question. Now, I immediately thought to myself, wait a minute, do I even know what that is? And I didn't, because here's the truth. I have I've always been someone who values mastery. I've done lots of trainings, I've earned lots of certifications, I've read so many books, I've taken so many assessments, I have coached so many leaders. And still, in that moment, as I was walking and I heard that, I found myself wondering, what if the thing that makes me powerful isn't something that I can measure? And then I immediately had thoughts about how I can measure almost anything, even if the measurement is only a feeling, but I digress. So I did what I always do when I hit that moment of, I don't know, but I want to know. And I should say, this is not the first time that I've tried to figure this out. I have circled this question more times in more flavors than I can count. I've journaled, I've reflected, I've taken trainings, I've had conversations with people, I've asked mentors, I've asked people that I love, that I trust, that are closest to me. And the truth is, it's really, really hard to see the picture when you are inside the frame. So I decided to do something different. I got curious and I didn't rush to solve it. I didn't write out in my journal, which is something that I have done before. Instead, I reached out to my friend. And by friend, I mean ChatGPT. So, this voice that you're hearing right now in your ear is the same voice that you're listening to right now. And I'm not afraid to ask for support anymore. I'm a big fan of using all the tools available to me. And here's why: we don't always need more effort. I think we need more reflection. I think we need more mirrors. And it's so interesting. I was having a conversation with my husband this morning about I can feel and sense that there's a shift coming within the podcast from a just title perspective and what I want to talk about and where we're going to go. And he said to me, maybe one thing you could consider is like this idea of like mirror, mirror on the wall. So, anyways, I'm just going to park that there. But I use Chat GPT to brainstorm with me. Like it's a thought partner for me. I use it to help me discern like what are some of the things that I could talk about. I use it to help clarify my thoughts when they feel tangled up. I use it to have it reflect back to me themes that I might be too close to see or reword things when I want to say something with more impact. And it's like having a mirror, an editor, and a coach in my back pocket, one that meets me with zero judgment and a whole lot of curiosity. So I opened up a conversation with my AI assistant, is how I refer to it. I probably should give it a name. And I just said, hey, friend, based on everything you know about me, what is my genius? Now, just for context, I've been working with AI since it came out, so it knows me pretty well. And I know that if you haven't worked with AI, it probably won't know you to the degree that it will if you do work with it. So there was this component of using AI as my assistant. And then, as you know, because I've shared it with you on the podcast, excuse me, getting my thoughts wrapped around here. I have been working with my human design. So I wanted to use my chart. So I layered that in and I said, like, use my chart. Help me see what I'm too close to see. And what came back, wow, here's what I can tell you. I felt seen and not in a performative, like, wow, you're so great kind of way at all. I felt like it was reflective, it was accurate, and it was deep and it was truthful. And so here's what I learned about myself. I create space where people soften, where people can exhale. People feel safe around me. They breathe deeper. They breathe with me. I invite them into the exercise and they never say no. They tell the truth and not just to me, to themselves. I mean, they're in their own experience, right? So they tell the truth to themselves and they share that with me. And I've always thought, I mean, I have thought I'm a good listener, but no, it's not. That's not just anything. People thank me for how I create a safe, welcoming space where they feel truly seen and heard. And it's something that I have done for the majority of my HR career. And as I'm saying this to you right here, right now, I'm having a moment of what I'm going to call sacred irony. And here's why. The very part of me that was silenced and believed because I was told I meant to be seen and not heard has become the quiet power behind my gift, not in spite of it, but through it. And guiding others home to themselves. That's the container where the transformation happens. It's in the space on the Zoom call or when I'm face to face with someone. It's that moment. That's the first thing that I learned from it. The second thing that I learned is I ask questions in the right moment. And that one, I loved that one. It did hit me hard because I do this constantly in coaching. One question, well placed, changes the entire direction of a conversation. Questions always take us somewhere. And sometimes I will say to my clients, questions always take us somewhere. Where is it you would like to be taken today? Where would you like to go? And I don't rush it. I ask, I wait, I listen, and it lands more often than it doesn't. And that's really, really important because like I said, questions take you somewhere. And I would even go so far as there's almost another layer to this, which is many, many clients of mine have been reflecting back to me that they are asking themselves questions based on our work together. And some of them have even said, I channel you. I'm just going to channel my inner Cynthia and ask, well, what would Cynthia ask? Or what would Cynthia say about this? And so I think that's really, really just such a beautiful reflection back to me about something that can seem so simple. And it was interesting. I'm being reminded now, I had a conversation with my son over text, and we were just talking about jobs and what he wants to do in the future. And, they kind of reach out to me for that sort of thing. It's my background. And he's like, well, I don't know, like what will exist and what will you want? We're just having all these kinds of questions. And I said to him, who would have thought that I would be able to make a six-figure income by asking questions, but I do. And so even as I'm saying this, I'm having this moment of like, yeah, asking questions can be incredibly valuable, especially to the receiver of the question. If it's a question that comes from a place of like, I'm with you, I'm present, I'm hearing you, and I can mirror back what it is that you're saying to me and pose a question at the end of it so that you can have a moment, a realization, aha, or a different way of thinking about it, or just a different way to even um, be curious with it. This brings me to the third piece, which is I guide people back to themselves. And I do this not by telling them what to do, because that's not what we do in coaching at all, but by holding up a mirror until they are able to see it. And when they are able to see it, they're able to stand taller. They're able to make different decisions. They're able to come back to their own authority. I just finished a client call, and we're nearing the end of our 6 months together. And one of the things that I noticed in this client is that um, their brain loves to tell them that they can't, that we were coaching on trust, and they were saying that they were at about an 8 out of a 10 on a trust level with themselves. And I asked them, well, what does a 10 look like for you? And they said, actually, when I've been able to do this scope of work, then I will be able to trust myself, because then I'll be able to prove myself that I've been able to do the thing. And I just had them think about that. Just pause for a moment and just, can you rethink what you just said? And is there another perspective to take here? Because there's nothing stopping you from having that feeling of, I've done this before, right here, right now. And it was fascinating to just have them think about how they were outsourcing their own authority. That the thing outside of them, which is the condition that they're placing on it, a scope of work, a new project, right? A new meteor project, that when I have that done, then I can trust myself fully, which is just fascinating. And so understanding that your own authority, your own um, compass, your own set of values, your own set of experiences, and guiding people back to that is incredibly powerful. So they can see, you can see where it is that you are in your own sovereignty, right? Am I thinking and believing what I think and believe because I've decided what I think and believe? Or am I going to keep moving the goalposts so that the thing that it's putting something in the way between me and the thing that I want to have, that I want to feel, that I want to experience? And we have to be really onto our minds here, onto our brains, onto ourselves, because our brain will always keep shifting the condition as it tries to gain different things from a place of safety, but also it tries to tell us that, oh, well, no, we can't feel that yet. We have to feel this thing instead, or we have to do this thing before we can get to that thing. So, all that to say, I help guide people back to themselves, trusting their own inner wisdom, their own inner guidance system, their own authority, rather than outsourcing it outside of themselves, which I think in a world where there's so much going on and so much chaos, this is the most valuable gift you can ever give yourself. So that when the world goes nutty out there, you're good in here because you've decided for yourself what are the things that are important to you, what matters to you, and you make your decisions and your actions in alignment with that. That's what alignment is. It's when I'm acting in alignment with who I am and what matters to me. The other thing, and this is the last piece here, that this experience has reflected back to me, is I treat people like they matter, because they do. And they feel that in every session, in every email, in every moment. And that is not nice. I mean, it's nice, but also that's leadership, is to treat people like they matter. And not everyone, not all leaders have that as something that is important to them. That's not in everyone else's inner compass. And that's not necessarily a problem. And I'm recognizing it more and more in myself, that I treat them like they matter. And I call all of this, what I have discovered here, my genius mirror. And it was this AI tool mirroring back to me my own genius. And it wasn't just affirming, it was activating. And what's interesting about this also is that this is something that I talked with my clients about all the time, which is this idea that your genius isn't just your job, your title, or your personality type. It lives at the nexus of your skills, your talents, and your lived experience. And it's not just what you know or what you're good at, it's what you do so naturally that it creates impact, ease, clarity, or connection for others. And that intersection of those three things, that experience, the talent, and the skills, that's your genius. And most of the time, it's hiding in plain sight. So this reminded me of something really important, this whole exercise. I had been dismissing the very thing that makes me me. And so why does this matter for you? Because I hear this all the time from my clients, from new leaders, from experienced ones. I hear things like, I don't think that what I do is special. It's just how I am. Isn't everyone like that? Doesn't everyone think that way? Doesn't everyone do this sort of thing? And here I'm here to tell you, no, they're not, and they don't. What comes easily to you, that is your genius. And again, most of us don't see it because it doesn't feel like a big deal. So let me ask you a question. What are you dismissing that might actually be your brilliance? And if you don't know yet, that's okay. Let yourself get curious. Let yourself get curious. And you don't need a human design chart, although it's amazing. You don't need to use AI, but if you're curious, I can show you how. What you do need is a moment of stillness and a willingness to look inward. So if you are in a place where you can close your eyes or jot something down, take a moment. If not, that's fine. These prompts, I'm going to give you some prompts. Therefore, you're remembering. I will put them in the show notes so that you don't feel rushed. But try these questions. What do people thank me for that I tend to brush off? What do I do so naturally that it feels too easy to count as valuable? What kind of situations light me up? And what am I doing in those moments? For me, that's coaching. What seems to shift for other people just by being in my presence? Something else I'm having a moment I'm going to share with you here is I have noticed that I have many, many good friends and good connections, and we meet on Zoom. And I've noticed that people always leave and they tell me, I feel so inspired. I have this idea, I have that idea. And so that's something else that shifts for other people just by being with me. And the last prompt is this: if I stopped trying to be impressive, what would I simply be? And let the answers come to you quietly, softly. This is not a resume. As I mentioned, it's a remembering. And if you are new to all of this, if you have never used human design or AI before, that's okay. Here's my gentle encouragement. You don't have to be an expert to get value. Human design is just a tool, a powerful one, for understanding how your energy works best. And AI is just another way of holding up a mirror. You ask a question, it reflects something back, and sometimes that's exactly what you need. There's a caveat here with human design, not with human design, with AI, is be aware when you are outsourcing your power to it. It is a tool that can be there to help you expand in your awareness, that can help you expand in your self-discovery journey, that can help you with having that difficult conversation with a leader or with a team member. It can help you ideate how to do business cases. It can help you create different reflective exercises. It can help you connect so many dots with so many things. It's an amazing tool. And again, just notice when you're using it for your growth versus when you're using it for to seek answers outside of yourself. That is something that will erode your self-trust over time. So just notice that. And if you're going to try that with ChatGPT, you can ask, or whichever AI platform you want to use, just ask it, what is my genius based on my human design chart? You'll just upload the chart, put it in, Or ask it, what do I do so easily that I might be dismissing it? Again, if it has some insights to you. You can, or you can come talk to me because if you're ready to stop minimizing your magic, if you're ready to lead without leaving yourself behind, if you're ready to stop fixing and start aligning, I am right here. And this is what I do. And it would be an honor to hold that mirror for you. With that, I want to say thank you so much for being here. I hope that this episode reminded you that your gifts don't have to be hard earned to be powerful. Sometimes they're the things that you have been doing all along, quietly, beautifully. And maybe now it's time to lead from there. So now go and ask a beautiful question. You never know where it might lead. Take care, and I'll see you back here, same time, same place next week. I hope that you're walking away feeling more aligned with your true self, more confident in the choices ahead, and ready to leave the safe path behind, knowing you've got everything you need within. Remember, the journey to you isn't about finding one perfect direction. It's about trusting yourself enough to explore all of it. If you're ready to dive deeper, join me for the next episode and don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss the next step on your path. I invite you to join my mailing list at www.cynthiajamesoncoach.ca, where we'll deepen our relationship and you can claim your copy of Your Inner Compass, a guide to charting your course to authenticity. Until next time, stay unfiltered, stay true, and most importantly, stay you.